Does it still take you hours or even days to finalize major contracts? With DocuSign Intelligent Agreement Management, you can generate fully complete.
This shit get on my nerves. Stats. Reset. Um Error. We gonna get there. If you're wondering what I look like, or if you're new to the stream, I show myself eventually, but right now, not right now. I got cameras and everything, whatever. I show myself when I feel like it. This ain't no mystery who I am. We'll see what's up. Let me see something real quick. Oh, okay, I fixed it. So, like I said, it's been a mental warfare out here. What's the definition of mental warfare? How about we do that first? Mental warfare. And then I'm gonna break down the etymology of it. How I do that first? But we do that next. Hold on one second. I gotta get it prepared for y'all. I hope you brought your mind and not your presence. Cause we gonna get into some deep shit this evening. That shit's still disconnecting and reconnecting. What is this? My YouTube? Okay, this is my Twitch. Craziest part, I have a Cat 8 Ethernet cord, and my connection is still shitty. It should be like, and I have some good internet, like internet's like fast, but it still is like disconnected and reconnected, disconnected and reconnected. I don't know what's wrong with that. Like my Twitch is getting crazy. I'm gonna have to fix that. I seen a video on how to fix that. It made me want to stop streaming and go fix it. You know what I'm saying? I forgot what I was doing. Manage your channel directly from your phone. Let me see that notification. Man, I fixed my settings and everything, and it's still acting retarded. Is it connected? I can hear myself. Yo, testing. Testing 1, 2, 3, to the 4, to the 5, to the 6. Getting down quick. Coming on. Coming up with the 5. Come on now. This thing acting retarded. It's like when I started doing everything I want to do. Everything messed up. It was running smoothly earlier. I just say Warface, the same one I asked for. Okay. Okay. Alright, let's get into this. Let's switch screens. Let me see. I need this on, but I think it's double audio. So I'm gonna do that off right now. Let's go here. Okay. Mental warfare or psychological warfare is a plan to use propaganda, fear, and misinformation to break the opponent's moral, manipulate emotions, and influence behavior without direct physical violence. It targets insecurities to disrupt the decisions making of enemies or civilians, often aim to force surrender to combat. Hold on, my music kind of loud. Can I turn it down? Hold on. It's out of my ear. That's what it is. I'm turning on my ear. Okay, that's better. So where I left off at? Okay, he uses examples of mental warfare. Propaganda, leaflets, dropping messages from aircraft to lower enemies' motivation and encourage surrender, as seen in World War II. Misinformation and fake news. That's what Donald Trump say all the time. It's fake news, looking ass. Dude, fake ass toupee to cause panic or confusion. Fake videos or missile strikes. So, would you missile strikes? So, would you consider what Iran's doing right now with the fake AI videos? Would you call that fake news? Because the motherfuckers are winning. From what I heard, they got the whole world on their side. The rest of the world, we by ourselves. Ain't no telling what's gonna happen. And I heard about the strait over there. What Iran's doing right now with the fake AI videos, what you call that, fake news, because the motherfuckers are winning. From what I heard, they got the whole world on their side. The rest of the world, we by ourselves. Ain't no telling what's gonna happen. And I heard about the Strait. Let's keep going with this. Let's keep breaking down this right here. Digital manipulation using social media algorithms and bots to create political stability. Exploration of fear, utilizing terrorist tactics such as threatening such as threatening violence or manipulating information regarding groups and vulnerability. Black propaganda. What the fuck that supposed to mean? Disseminating information that claims to be from a legitimate source, but is actually created by the enemy to incite distress. So why they call it black propaganda? That's so racist. I ain't never heard that before. What's the ass cracker making up these fucked up words? I love going over words, so we go over words a lot on this channel. Get the etymology and to get a better understanding. You gotta do the knowledge. You gotta know what they saying, cause I ain't gonna lie, it's legit. My first time going to juvie and shit, I ain't understand shit that cracker said in the coat. I'm like, man, what? Like, robot talking, bitch, like, the fuck? So now I have elevated. I learned law and stuff like that. We won't get into law too on this channel. I learned law and other things that elevate my consciousness. So I won't be tricked no more. And words are definitely a way to trick you. Cause if you don't know the language, you can surrender your rights from not knowing the right words, if you get what I'm saying. But let's keep going. Synonyms related to concepts, psychological operations, mind games, propaganda, information warfare, psych war, cognitive war. To maximize the effect, they may omit or distort pertinence. Key characteristics. Targets aimed at emotions, fear, insecurities, and desires other than just physical targets. Objective to destroy the will to fight and control perceptions. Method includes using misinformation, music, films, and leaflets to create a battle of the mind. If you didn't know that that the mint right here, it's always meant mind. So like, let's say when you say government, so the mint behind it, that's what mind comes from, the intellect, you know what I'm saying? So they govern, so they govern means over, so they over your mind pretty much. They govern, so they govern means over, so they over your mind pretty much. But let's get back into shit. Governor plus men to steer intention, also root of government. I just said that. I ain't even read this. The mind, to steer the mind, that's what it means. War, chronodramatic, rara, confused, disorder, fare, to travel, to move, welfare, to move through the chaos, to move through chaos, strategy, strategy. Y'all excuse my vernacular because I'm from Florida and not talk at a level of Floridian, but I'm still not talk at a level of Floridian, but I'm still smart though. It's just these words be killing me. Alright. That. So mental warfare, ideology, cultural dynamics. If you control what people believe, movement through the human mind, or created or control confusion. Historical timeline. Diasporic battlefield. Diasporic battlefield. I'm saying that right. Transatlantic era, 1500s to 1800s. Enslavement required more than change. It required identity erasure. Language ban, drums, religious replacement. Post emancipation, 1800s to 1900s. Education system rewrites history. That is a fact. Blacks become a condition, not a people. That's the 20th century. That's like the 20th century, the 21st. But yeah, that's crazy. Physical operation expand. Media textbooks control narratives. Figures like Marcus Garvey counter with the mind liberation movements. Digital algorithms shape perception in real life narratives where fear is constant. The battlefield moves from the land to labor to the mind. Political science, control and fracture. Mental warfare is the foundation of propaganda, ideology, cultural dynamics. If you control what people believe, what they fear, what they think is possible, you control the outcomes without visible force. Empire's principle. When the mind and the body follows without resistance. Social science, behavior engineering. This is kind of important here. Mental warfare operates through repetition, like normalization, like repetitiveness or whatever. Language framing, like I said before, the language, emotional triggers, fear, identity shaping. This thing must be listening to what I be saying. So I said this right before I said that. It produces self-doubt, internal division, learned limitation. It is how systems persist without constant violence. Biological and cognitive reality. The brain rise through the am I saying this right? Repentition. Repentition. I don't know. Let me figure out what this fuck is. Basketball. Ayako. And Dak is saying and doing producing again, creating this rhythm.
Repetition.
Repetition. Alright, bet. Responds to stress signals as real threats. Chronic exposure to negative narratives. Chronic exposure to negative narratives alters cholesterol levels. I don't know what that is. What is this? Impacts decisions making, shapes generational behavior. Mental warfare becomes biologically conditioning. I got I got it zoomed in on here so I can see it better.
Cortisol.
I could have. Whatever. My computer moving slow, man. What the fuck? Alright, we almost done. Onomastic. Naming as weapons. Expectations. Treatment. Control the name. Control the narrative. Control the mind. Mind status. Mental warfare. Mental 7-14-5. Warfare is the same 77-14-5. So total is going to be and you reduce that, I guess it comes down to 1. So I guess maybe the mental reduced down to 5 and the warfare reduced down to 4. So mental is the change, instability, control, and initiation. Mental warfare destabilizes 5 to establish the name, control the narrative, to establish control of 1. Metaphorically, if you get that, you get that. Esoterical, symbolic layer. In alchemy, the mind is the primitive materia, raw material. Control perception, transmute reality, spelling, words cast mental structures, repeat language, repeat reality. This is why language is a primary weapon system. Decolonization, conclusion, whatever. Mental warfare is the first war. Mental warfare is the first war you were placed in before you knew you were in it. It looks like mystification, identity confusion, historical amnesia, but resistance looks like reclaiming language, restoring memory, rebuilding identity from birth, from truth. The voice of the exiled sovereign. They could not hold the body without first navigating with the mind. Break the spell and break the spell, and the system loses jurisdiction. That was metaphorically, if you get that, you get that. Good. So as I'm done going over the mental warfare part, we're gonna get into some my sound is too loud. That's what's throwing me off. But we're gonna get into some. Mine is the materia, raw material. Control perception, transmute reality, spelling, words cast mental structures, repeat language, repeat reality. This is why language is a primary weapon system. Decolonization, conclusion, whatever. Mental warfare is the first war. Mental warfare is the first war you were placed in before you knew you were in it. It looks like miseducation, identity confusion, historical amnesia. But resistance looks like reclaiming language, restoring memory, rebuilding identity from birth, from truth. The voice of the exiled sovereign. They could not hold the body without first navigating with the mind. Break the spell and break the spell and the system loses jurisdiction. That was pretty good. So as I'm done going over the mental warfare part, we're gonna get into some my sound is too loud. That's what's throwing me off. But we're gonna get into some reaction. We're gonna react to some mental warfares, like Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane. It's a mental warfare, cause he want to get out of his contract, and Gucci won't let him, so he forced his way out of the contract. He forced his way out of the contract. I didn't mean shit do that. Well, let's get into this right now. Let me turn this music off.
Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 1090 Jake, man. I'm rocking with y'all rocking with me. And for this video, we're gonna be speaking on how Pooh Shiesty robbed and kidnapped Gucci, how Gucci snitched on Pooh Shiesty, how Pooh Shiesty's father is a government informant. This is gonna be one of the craziest videos of 2026.
9 individuals, including well-known musical artists, kidnapped and robbed at gunpoint numerous victims at a music studio in Dallas, Texas. 8 of the 9 were arrested yesterday in Dallas, Memphis, and Nashville. These individuals who are charged and arrested include Lontrell Williams Jr., also known as Pooh Shiesty.
It was several hours before sunup when they first heard a boom. It was then followed by shouting of from the agents who were saying that they were certainly executing a search warrant. I can tell you, after that boom, there was a back door that was breached.
It sounded like Gucci cooperated. It sounded like the victim. Gucci was a victim and gave his testimony. Come on over here with me, Gucci. It's all right. It's all right to go and be civilian. Yeah, come on. Come on over here with me, Gucci. Press charges on their ass.
Flashbangs would pop off the federal search warrant of Memphis rapper Pooh Shiesty's home on April 1st, 2026. The next day, the United States Attorney for Northern Texas would announce 9 individuals, including well-known rappers, were federally charged with kidnapping and robbing at gunpoint numerous victims at a music studio in Dallas, Texas. 8 of the 9 were arrested in one day, including Memphis rapper Lontrell Williams Jr., aka Pooh Shiesty, his father Lontrell Williams Sr., Memphis rapper Rodney Wright, aka Big 30, and 6 others. A 32-page sealed criminal complaint would state on January 10th, 2026, at approximately 4:50 p.m., 3 victims were kidnapped and robbed at gunpoint at a music studio. The criminal complaint would list the 3 victims by their initials, RD, MM, and BP. But we all know RD is Roderick Davis. At approximately 1 p.m. that day, the victims flew into Dallas alongside Gucci's head of security and an additional security officer for a scheduled meeting with Pooh Shiesty, who'd been signed to Gucci's 1017 label since 2021. The meeting was scheduled because Shiesty was upset with the terms of his contract.
Yo, I got a question. Is it snitching if somebody rob you for your shit and you have to file a police report because you have valuable items that you insured on insurance and you have to file a police report? Is that snitching or is that not snitching? I don't know. Let me know in the comments.
And wished to be released from the label, so he asked Gucci to meet about business. At approximately 1:45, Gucci and his team arrived at the meeting location, a music recording studio within a larger office building. Upon entering the building, they realized the recording studio was closed. In the meantime, they went to a nearby liquor store. Pooh Shiesty's father, who's more commonly known throughout the streets of Memphis as Mob Boss, ran an independent label named Mob Ties Records. Boss would call the owner of the Dallas recording studio at 2:53 p.m., trying to book the studio for Shiesty and Gucci to record music. This was over an hour after Gucci had already arrived. 22 minutes after the call, the studio was open to Gucci and his team. A short time later, Mob Boss could be seen on surveillance video speaking on his cell phone outside the building before entering. At 3:39, a production employee would arrive while Pooh Shiesty and his father were standing at the back of the office building, engaged in what appeared to be an argument over the phone. Just minutes later, Shiesty, along with his father, Big 30, and 6 others, would enter the east side of the building, walking through the lobby and into the studio. One of the suspects at a later time can be seen exiting before shortly returning with a bag slung over his shoulder. All 9 suspects entered the studio's control room, where inside the victims were watching a football game. Gucci's head of security was positioned in the lobby, while the other guard remained.
Yo, these niggas went in barefaced and like, fuck it, like, they ain't had no plan on that, and they just was like, we just gonna tell them to give me a contract back. They ain't had no good plan. That's how they all got caught. They stay dumb as fuck.
In the vehicle. The victims overheard Pooh Shiesty talking on his cell phone, possibly with his federal parole officer, stating that his caseworker had given him permission to be out on rec time. From what the victims could hear, Shiesty was told on the phone that was not the case, and he needed to return immediately, to which he
plan on that, and they just was like, we just gonna tell them to give me a contract back. They ain't had no good plan. That's how they all got caught.
At the time, Shiesty was wearing.
So they stay dumb as fuck.
In the vehicle. The victims overheard Pooh Shiesty talking on his cell phone, possibly with his federal parole officer, stating that his caseworker had given him permission to be out on rec time. From what the victims could hear, Shiesty was told on the phone that was not the case, and he needed to return immediately, to which he agreed. At the time, Shiesty was wearing an ankle monitor. Gucci would tell Shiesty,
and you in the ankle monitor game? Come on. They didn't say that he like this nigga was like in a halfway house or something like that.
Shiesty, his father, and Big 30. The two other victims would remain with the 6 suspects, even offering them drinks as 2 of the suspects accepted and poured up. Inside the booth, Shiesty pulled out a contract termination letter telling Gucci to sign it, releasing him from the label. Gucci refused, Shiesty became agitated, and the two began to argue. The 2 victims could see the conversation play out, and one of them saw the conversation intensifying, so he texted Gucci's head of security privately in the attached recording room. Gucci would enter the room with Pooh Shiesty, his father, and Big 30. The 2 other victims would remain with the 6 suspects, even offering them drinks as 2 of the suspects accepted and poured up. Inside the booth, Shiesty pulled out a contract termination letter telling Gucci to sign it, releasing him from the label. Gucci refused, Shiesty became agitated, and the two began to argue. The 2 victims could see the conversation play out, and one of them would pull a Draco, aiming it at Gucci and demanding again that he sign the contract release paperwork. Gucci, now being held at gunpoint and unable to leave the room, complied. Conversation intensifying, so he texted Gucci's head of security, who was still in the lobby. While arguing, Shiesty instructed Big 30 to get his buy. Big 30 took out his cell phone and recorded Gucci signing the paperwork. While being forced to say he released Pooh Shiesty from his contract. Whoa. If you've ever needed access to your money before payday, there's a banking app called Current that lets you get up to $750 as a paycheck advance, watch, earrings, and whatever cash he had on him. Shiesty then handed the paperwork to his father, asking him if it was good, and Shiesty would pull a Draco, aiming it at Gucci and demanding again that he sign the contract to be dated. Room with the bag, and Shiesty would pull a Draco, aiming it at Gucci and demanding again that he sign the contract release paperwork. Gucci next to his signature. As Shiesty, 30, and Mob Boss exited the recording room, the 6 remaining suspects at gunpoint and unable to leave the room complied, signing the paper while Shiesty's father and Big 30 stood by. Big 30 took out his cell phone and recorded Gucci signing the paperwork while being forced to say he released Pooh Shiesty from his contract. After signing, Pooh Shiesty would take Gucci's wedding ring, watch, wallet removed by who he identified as CMO Damn Fool, one of Shiesty's goons. His 1017 chain would be taken by another man he knew as Glizzy 375. Glizzy would rip earrings and whatever cash he had on him. Shiesty then handed the paperwork to shoot him for moving, but Shiesty would instruct him not to. According to the victim's statement to police, he witnessed Big 30 pointing a cell phone at Gucci within the booth, but assumed he was taking pictures for social media. Victim BP further identified Baby Slime 375 for holding him and others at gunpoint. Victim BP and victim MM would identify KD 375, who they also recognized, as he can be seen on social media with Pooh Shiesty. KD would also hold them at gunpoint. Victim MM is rumored to be Matt Marzal, who goes AK Pistol by Mars. He's a Chicago-based photographer and has been Gucci's personal cameraman for years. It was also Matt who texted Gucci's head of security when he saw the conversation within the recording booth intensifying, but Shiesty would instruct him not to. According to the victim's statement to police, he witnessed Big 30 pointing a cell phone at Gucci within the booth, but assumed he was taking pictures for social media. Victim BP further identified Baby Slime 375 for holding him and others at gunpoint. Victim BP and victim MM would identify KD375, who they also recognized, as he can be seen on social media with Pooh Shiesty. KD would also hold them at gunpoint. Victim MM is rumored to be Matt Marzal, who goes by the name Multi-Mars. He's a Chicago-based photographer and has been Gucci's personal cameraman for years. It was also Matt who texted Gucci's head of security when he saw the conversation within the recording booth intensifying. Matt was choked from behind, almost to the point of losing consciousness.
So all of them niggas were there. Your whole entourage. That's crazy. You gotta move better than that,
resulting in scratches to his neck and wrist. He'd be robbed of his Rolex watch, a Louis Vuitton bag containing multiple high-end watches, and his wallet. He'd confirmed to police his Louis bag, wallet, and AirPods all had an Apple AirTag attached, and he was also able to identify his robber by his Instagram handle of TwinCMO. While the robbery was taking place, Big 30 walked to the door leading to the lobby, closing it and blocking it with his body, preventing the victims from leaving. But Gucci's security would see what was taking place. Both of Gucci's security guards would draw guns, attempting to force themselves in as they partially opened the door, only to see that they were greatly outgunned. Gucci was pushed onto a couch, causing the victims to believe they were going to be executed. Shiesty placed the barrel of his Draco to the back of BP's head, ordering him and Gucci to leave the studio through the west side of the building. Gucci then instructed his security to escort them to their vehicle. As the victims left, Gucci's cameraman turned to Pooh Shiesty and asked if they were really taking his watches. Matt would provide police with the last AirTag locations, which was revealed to be the parking lot of an apartment leased to Pooh Shiesty's father, where Pooh is believed to have been residing in Frisco, Texas. Federal investigators would recover photos of the suspect vehicles, a white Buick Enclave, a black Hellcat, and a black Dodge Ram with a roll bar. According to law enforcement databases, Big 30's father owns a 2020 Dodge Hellcat in Tennessee, and license plate readers would place it in Texas during the relevant time period of the robbery and traveling with the two other suspect vehicles. The white Enclave was found to be a rental, rented by none other than Shiesty's dad. Federal investigators would find surveillance video of Shiesty's dad at a Staples, printing out what they believed to be the release contract an hour before he arrived at the studio. The feds would also link all suspects together by cell phone GPS coordinates and would reveal Shiesty's goons were so poor, 4 of them would have to take a Greyhound bus from Texas back to Memphis, Tennessee. Now remember when the victims offered Shiesty's goons drinks? A left ring finger and right thumbprint would identify the 2 suspects that took drinks as they left their prints on the red cups. The victims obviously knew who Pooh Shiesty was, and Gucci Mane would be listed as one of the victims who identified Shiesty as wearing a Nike mask and hoodie during the robbery. Gucci would also name Big 30 and identify him by his Instagram. In fact, almost every suspect was able to be identified by their Instagram handles. KD would be described as Shiesty's right-hand man. Damn Fool lives up to his name, as he could be seen leaving wearing Gucci's cameraman's Louis bag. He'd then post a video to Instagram wearing one of the stolen watches.
These niggas so fucking dumb. What's going on outside?